can I stop you here? Are you aware of the boneyard in Alaska?
I've heard of it, and it sounds fascinating. I don't think he's
my God.
revealed much about that
Well,
to the public yet.
it's an amazing, amazing discovery. This guy's a gold miner,
Yeah.
and he has this large piece of land in Alaska. They're mining for gold, and they start finding like tusks and
Right.
bones. And in one area that's only a few acres, they found thousands and thousands of woolly mammoth bones and tusks and saber-toothed tiger. Was it saber-toothed tiger? No, it was short-faced bear. They found all these like
All the megafauna.
many
I
animals
see.
that weren't even supposed to exist in Alaska. And he's like, look, we have the bones of it.
Yeah.
And one of the things they found recently was bones that were sawed, clearly sawed,
Human workmanship.
but like a sophisticated tool. Let me see if you could pull it up so you could see how it looked.
Clearly cut. Clearly
Isn't that
sawed. Yeah,
amazing?
Yeah, absolutely.
So they're trying to find out what the dates on these are.
That was my next question. Have they dated it?
They just got these recently. This is fairly recent. So I believe he's had some issues with universities not giving back his stuff and selling off his stuff.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, well, he recently started a bone rush in the East River. Because it turns out that during the 1920s or 1930s, stuff that they had taken from his land before he owned it, they had dumped some of it because they had so much of it. They dumped it in the East River, and they were balking at it. But meanwhile, these people have found it there.
Yeah.
So here it goes. I think many of you are intrigued by these Ice Age bones found in the boneyard in Alaska. If you zoom in, you'll see that it's been sanded or somehow been worked down to a smooth finish on the end. I'm going to carbon date one of them. I'll post the results when I do. So this is 3 weeks ago, so it's probably going to take a little longer. But look how smooth it is on that one
it's
bottom.
perfectly cut, and we'll look forward to seeing the dating results. But the fact that we're dealing with megafauna that went extinct between 12,800 and 11,600 years ago implies very strongly that it's at least that old.
Not only that, his area has a very thick layer of carbon that seems to indicate some sort of a mass burn or some sort of a horrible disaster. So they're going through these layers of things, and they're finding an unbelievable amount of animals that died in this area. Just a mass die-out.
Yes, and what would cause a mass die-out? Not human hunting.
Right.
This is I'm strongly opposed to what they call the overkill hypothesis. This is one of the alternative explanations for why the megafauna went extinct at that time.
Right.
Is that hunter-gatherers literally wiped out all the megafauna, and to me that. For a couple of reasons, that doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense, first of all, because hunter-gatherers we know in the world today do not wipe out their prey animals. They live in coexistence with them. They live in balance with them. They don't just destroy them all. It's our kind of culture that destroys animals completely.
Like what we did with the bison.
What we did with the bison.
Yeah.
And therefore it seems very un-hunter-gatherer-like activity to completely destroy the megafauna. And the other thing is the simultaneous extinction of large numbers of creatures that is happening very, very, very quickly suggests to me that we're looking at a disaster of some sort. And that's why the Younger Dryas impact hypothesis, which is solid science, although undoubtedly disputed, which suggests that multiple fragments of a disintegrating comet hit the Earth 12,800 years ago. Many of them didn't hit the Earth. Many of them exploded in the sky. They were not that big, maybe 100 meters in diameter. So they were airbursts, but they leave these characteristic signatures in the ground. And
like Tunguska.
Exactly like Tunguska. The Tunguska event is a recent example of that. 30th of June, 1908, happens to be at the peak of the Beta Taurids, and the Taurid meteor stream is identified as the likely culprit for what happened in the Younger Dryas.